Mark Donegan, host of the Marketing Execution Podcast. Investors chase market share, but only 19% of fast-growing firms were category creators who captured 80% of market cap. This episode fixes the blind spot keeping enterprise tech software stuck. I've led GTM and scaled demand for enterprise companies and marketers. Now here's the conversation Tim and I recorded on winning categories.
Up, it's marketing time. Bright ideas sparking, growing your mind. From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Bark, I've been chewing on something all week that I think might fundamentally change how founders approach their entire go-to-market strategy. You ever hear someone say, the best product always wins?
Oh, all the time. It's like startup gospel at this point.
Right, but I came across this framework that basically says that's completely backwards. The argument is that categories make brands, not the other way around. And the companies that design new categories end up capturing something like 76% of all the value created.
Okay, now that is a spicy take, but honestly, I've seen this play out so many times. Let me break this down because there are really three things founders get wrong here.
Yeah, walk me through it.
So the first thing is what I call the better trap. Founders obsess over being better than competitors, faster, cheaper, smarter, whatever. But when you're playing the comparison game, you're automatically positioning yourself as the also-ran. You're basically telling the market, hey, look at that company over there. We're like them, but slightly improved.
Which means you're letting someone else define what success looks like.
Exactly. You're playing by rules someone else wrote. And the data backs this up. I was looking at research on Fortune 100's fastest growing companies, and only about 19% were actually creating new categories. But those category creators captured 80% of the market cap growth. 80%.
That's not a slight edge. That's complete domination.
It's insane. And this brings me to the second thing founders mess up. They think category design is just marketing, like it's some fancy positioning exercise you do after you build the product.
But it's not?
No. It's the entire business strategy. There's this concept called the magic triangle. You've got product design, company design, and category design. And here's the thing that blows people's minds. You can get the product wrong and tweak it. You can get the business model wrong and fix it. But if you get the category wrong, you're done.
Wait, so category is a single point of failure?
That's exactly what it is. I can think of so many companies whose founders said pretty terrible things publicly. Maybe they've missed earnings projections multiple times, but if they created their category, I'm sure they're still worth billions of dollars today.
I can think of several companies like that. But wait, you're telling me a company can have a problematic founder, an undifferentiated product, and still win because of category?
That's the power of it. Once people see a new category and want it, they can't unsee it or unwant it. Even from a lousy company, the category creates the demand.
Okay, so what's the third mistake?
This one's huge for our Marketing Execution Podcast. Founders think they need to find product market fit, but that phrase is actually dangerous because it assumes the market exists.
I never really thought about it that way.
Right? The whole concept tricks you into fitting into something that already exists. But legendary companies don't fit in the markets, they create them. Nobody knew they wanted a computer in their phone until Steve Jobs showed them. Our parents told us never get in cars with strangers, and now we get frustrated when our Uber is 3 minutes late.
So instead of minimum viable product, you're saying founders should be thinking about maximum viable category.
Yes, that's the reframe. Stop asking, does this product fit the market? Start asking, what new category could we create that makes the old way of doing things irrelevant?
But how do you actually do that? Like, practically speaking?
You start by finding your superconsumers. These are the people who know your category better than anyone. They're the ones who own 12 different pairs of scissors for scrapbooking or have 7 types of wine glasses. They're only about 10% of consumers, but they drive 30 to 70% of sales.
And they're the ones who will tell you where the category should go.
Exactly. But here's the hidden secret. A super consumer of one category is typically a super of 9 other categories too. So if you understand why someone is obsessed with coffee, you might discover they're also obsessed with dairy, with morning routines, with productivity tools. That's where the real category opportunities hide. So you're not just looking at your narrow space, you're looking at the constellation of interests around your core customer. That's how you find the 10th category that doesn't exist yet. And that is where the exponential value gets created.
Mark, that's fascinating. But let's talk about what this means for a founder who's already stuck in the comparison game and needs to break out of it.
That's actually where most founders get stuck. They're trapped in what I call the comparison prison, and they built the bars of that prison themselves. Every time you say the words better, faster, cheaper about your product, you're adding another bar. You're telling the market, hey, compare me to that other thing over there. And once you invite that comparison, you can't uninvite it.
So the language itself is the trap.
Yes, the words you use literally shape how people think about you. I know a company that spent 3 years trying to be the best CRM platform. Best features, best support, best integrations. And you know what happened?
Let me guess. They got crushed by someone who changed the conversation entirely.
Exactly right, because while they were playing the comparison game, another company came along and said, forget CRM. What you actually need is revenue intelligence. Completely different frame, different problem, different future.
Though breaking out of the comparison game is about refusing to play it altogether.
And here's why that matters so much for founders listening right now. When you compete, you're fighting over maybe 24% of the category value, the scraps. But when you create and own a new category, you're positioned to capture 76% of the economic.
That's a completely different business outcome.
It's the difference between building a lifestyle business and building something legendary. And look, I'm not knocking lifestyle businesses, but if you're raising venture capital, if you've got big ambitions, you have to understand this math.
Okay, so practically speaking, what does a founder do when they wake up tomorrow and realize they've been playing the wrong game?
First thing, stop talking about your product for a minute. Seriously. Instead, ask yourself what problem exists in the world that nobody is framing correctly. What are customers accepting as normal that shouldn't be normal?
You're talking about finding the hidden frustration.
The stuff people don't even complain about anymore because they've given up. I call it category Stockholm syndrome. Customers get so used to being mistreated by a category that they stop imagining anything different. Think about it. Before Uber, we just accepted that getting a cab was miserable. Standing in the rain, never knowing if one would come, fumbling for cash. We thought that was just how it worked.
And now we get frustrated when our ride is late.
Because someone showed us a different future. They didn't say we're a better taxi company. They said the whole taxi experience is broken, and here's what transportation should actually feel like.
So the founder's job isn't just to build a product, it's to help customers see a problem they didn't know they had.
And then give them language to talk about it. This is critical. Your point of view becomes a script that customers use when they tell their friends. If you nail that, word of mouth takes care of itself.
But the right words in the right mouth.
That's the whole game. You're not just marketing a product, you're teaching people a new way to see the world. And once they see it, they can't unsee it. They can't unwant it.
Mark, this is powerful stuff. I think we need to dig into the practical application here. How does a founder actually craft this point of view and turn it into a go-to-market strategy that works?
Well, it starts with the category design scorecard. You have to be brutally honest about where you sit. Are you trying to be the winner, be the best, or be different? Most founders think they are being different when they are really just trying to be a better version of an existing king.
So if I'm an entrepreneur sitting in my garage right now, what's the very first thing I do to grade myself?
You look at your POV. Do you have a clear point of view of the category problem? Not your product's features, but a fundamental flaw in the way the world works today. Take a company like Narrow Niche Leader Specialized Needs Navigator. The founder didn't just offer financial planning. He framed the problem of how special needs families are ignored by traditional planners. He named the problem. Then he claimed the solution.
So the first step is to literally write down one sentence defining the pain you solve, just one. If you can't, your messaging is too complicated.
And once you have that, you move to the magic triangle. This is the strategic cornerstone. You have to balance product design, company design, and category design all at once. If you only focus on the product, you're just building a better mousetrap. You need a business model that reinforces the category. Look at Netflix. They didn't just stream movies, they killed late fees from the old movie rental business model. That was an innovation that made the old category of movie rentals look like a total scam.
Right. Blockbuster made money when you failed. Netflix made money when you were happy.
Precisely. And that move killed Blockbuster and created a new category on video streaming. That is a missionary mindset versus a mercenary one. Now, to make this work in the real world, you have to find your superconsumers. These are the people who own 10 pairs of scissors for scrapbooking or check their SaaS dashboards 5 times a day. They're only 10% of consumers, but they drive most of the profit. You don't ask them what features they want, you ask them what their dream is for the category.
And those supers are the ones who give you the data to build your flywheel.
They are the source of all your best insights. Think about how Miro didn't just sell a whiteboard. They looked at how remote teams were struggling to brainstorm and created a collaborative space that captured a viral loop. They hitched their niche to the remote work rocket ship. And they didn't do it by looking at what Microsoft Whiteboard was doing. They looked at the gap in the remote experience.
This brings us to the actual language. How does a founder find that?
You use a language to change thinking. You cannot use old words to describe new things. If you call your product a social media manager, you're a commodity. But if you call it a relationship intelligence engine, you have rejected the premise. You're forcing a choice, not a comparison. This is what we call category violence. You're attacking the old way of living to make room for the new way.
It sounds like a transition from a consumer of the market to a creator of the market. It's almost like a mental shift.
It is the ultimate mental shift. You have to stand in the future and backcast. Don't look at the industry reports. Industrial reports are just history books. They tell you where the red ocean is. You want to look at where the ocean doesn't even exist yet, like the e-bike companies. They didn't look at the bicycle market. They looked at the I want to move around town without sweating market. That was a $0 billion category until they made it real.
So the sequence is find the unaddressed problem, name it with new language, and focus all your energy on the supers who feel that pain the most.
That is the pirate way. And remember to play the breakthrough game. Every 6 months, pretend you are fired and your only job is to put your old company out of business. What would you build to make your current product irrelevant? That is how you stay a category king instead of becoming a legacy company in a tailspin.
Mark, this has been an incredible deep dive. To wrap this all up, could you summarize everything we have discussed across these 3 parts so the listeners have one final takeaway?
All right, we started by challenging the myth that the best product wins. It doesn't. Categories make brands, not the other way around. Category creators capture 76% of the value while everyone else fights over scraps.
The comparison trap.
Right. Every time you say better or faster, you're building your own prison. The way out is to stop competing and start creating. Frame a problem nobody else is framing. Give customers new language to describe their pain. Then we talked about the practical toolkit. Write your one-sentence point of view, find your super consumers because they drive most of your revenue and they'll tell you where to go next. Finally, name and claim your category so you write the rules of the game.
Mark, after everything we discussed today, what's the one thing you really hope people don't forget?
Don't ask if your product fits the market. Ask what future you're creating that makes the old way unacceptable. Because once people see a new possibility, they can't unsee it. Your job isn't to win the game. Your job is to change which game gets played. The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.